Ancient religion, from the Mycenaean to the Hellenistic period. From the Mycenaean period to the Dark Ages, all the way to the Classical period, the Greeks have had religion. In the Mycenaean period, the Greek religion was and still is somewhat mysterious in terms of what practices they used. Although we do know that they dealt in many rituals that were mystical in nature, and even then they believed in more than one god, the practice of polytheism. During the Mycenaean period, they were cultic in nature and would do sacrificial offerings. Offerings were made at great bonfires, but gradually during that period they began to make shrines, where men and women were sacrificed as a way of being sent to serve the gods, as well as animals. They felt the gods might have needed them. It is not it is not known for certain whether it was voluntary or forced, but it was seen as a great honor. Even though Zeus and Poseidon are seen as superior gods or deities, women were actually the more common type found in Cretan art during the pre-Mycenaean period. The word used for them then was Potanea, which meant great mistress. It is unknown whether female gods were the dominant gods then, or just the most common found from that period. The Dark Ages, to some, it was just thought of as the fall of the Mycenaean period, but it was also a period of innovation and religion was still very active. At this time, most of their heroic myths appeared, such as the Iliad. Government was no longer theocratic, acquisition of foreign lands brought on new government, still tied to religion but not completely. Even though there were a lot of political changes, religion did not change. Each god still represented the same things. However, names did change and people were creating life-size cult images. The main thing to keep in mind about this period is the resilience or continuity in their traditional beliefs in certain gods, especially in Crete, for example, Artemis. The Hellenic, also known as the Classical period, we learn about the effect it had particularly on family, life, and individuals. Men were religious authorities in Greek households, and families were not nuclear, but included all extended family in one dwelling. So we learn more about how it was practiced personally, within the home, and the significance it had on the family. The father, as a prominent role as a religious figure, was not one just for the household, but also dictated how events in the city or village went if he were of noble lineage. Also, sacrifices increased during this period and were a fixed amount, as well as certain types of animals each year. Mostly inexpensive animals, so nothing too valuable, like a cow. Anything significant, another significant part of religion during this period was the protection it provided, not only spiritually, but physically, as we learned from the Hesiod, according to the house and the family. And how they would set up a fence, and it was used for divine protection. The fence was called Herkos, an epithet to Zeus, which lets us know the initial function and history behind the fence, which is now used even now. One other thing to keep in mind is that for the individual, nothing was about simply following set rules the gods set forth, but actually trying to gain their favor by following ancestral customs and doing more than needed.